Did you trim them up all summer, Jacob?
Probably one.
Ooh, the camera started for a change. Just have to. Where, up in the top right corner, oh, nope, left, above the word view. Is a, go to the middle one, no, one more to the left. Yeah, right there. Yours.
Broad angle view. Okay.
Recording in progress.
I welcome everyone here and anyone at home to our December 4th Town Board Workshop. Would the clerk please call the roll after I say the Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilperson Chase.
Here.
Councilperson Corbin.
Here.
Councilperson Morelli.
Here.
Councilperson Woolever.
Here.
Supervisor Cusie.
Here. And I have one announcement to make, and that is item 3 on the agenda. The discussion or update of the amended lease with the Horse's Friend has been withdrawn from our agenda tonight. So that allows us to go into executive session for the purpose of interviewing for the vacant unexpired term on the planning board.
All right, I so move to enter into an executive session, 7:04 PM. For the purpose of interviewing for the vacant planning board seat. Is there a second?
I second that.
Right.
Councilperson Chase.
Aye.
Councilperson Corbin.
Aye.
Councilperson Morelli.
Aye.
Councilperson Woolever.
Aye.
Supervisor Cusie.
Aye. Are we gonna move in?
Yep, and she will pause the meeting for us. And we will enter the supervisor's conference room. Get out of your way. Big squeeze here tonight. I don't know why those little things. All right, I make a motion to enter back into normal session at 7:44 PM. Is there a second?
I second that.
Are there people in the waiting room? I'm sorry.
Councilperson Chase.
Here.
Councilperson Corbin.
Aye.
Councilperson Morelli.
Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry. My mind was off.
Councilperson Morelli.
Aye.
Councilperson Woolever.
Aye.
Supervisor Cusie.
I am here. Thank you. Oh,
Where is my? Now I don't know where it is. Oh, there, I got it. I got it. All right, I so move that Stephen Wisnowski be appointed to the planning board to fill the vacated position of Don Morelli beginning December 5th, 2023 through December 31st, 2025. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
At a workshop. We have to do this at a board meeting.
You can do it at a workshop, it's okay to do that, yeah. It's a regular, I mean, we call it a workshop, but it's a regular, publicly noticed meetings. You can still do this.
Who seconded it?
I did.
Oh, okay.
Councilperson Chase.
Nay.
Councilperson Corbin.
Aye.
Councilperson Morelli.
Aye.
Councilperson Woolever.
Nay.
Supervisor Cusie.
aye.
All right, number 2.
So I will jump in. So this is a discussion proposal for commercial and mixed use hamlet code update proposals. At the last workshop, Scott gave a wonderful presentation about the changes that the code committee have put together. During the break, I was actually showing John where I was with that. So during the last month, I have put together a local law package essentially that has a local law that would adopt all of those changes. It's obviously a significantly sized document. I am almost done. I was hoping to be done before today, but I was almost done with adding my comments to both comments directed towards the code committee as well as to the board. The code committee comments, and I can sort of, and I'll explain this to them directly as well via email to Scott with the board CC. But the code committee comments are more, what was your intention in drafting what you did, and so I can maybe better word it better to have that effect. The comments for you all are more of the variety that say, this is the change that is proposed. I want you to recognize that this is a change from what was before. I'll give a specific example of both of those. So for instance, the code committee changes, something that I talked to John about this, but I'll talk to the code committee as well. You know, they define boutique hotel as something that feels small and quaint and, you know, has a theme. And I think we know what they're talking about, but for purposes of enforcement and making sure that that is fairly applied, and we need to be more specific. You know, we can't have a feels small and quaint. We need to say, you know, the capacity is X. So those will be the type of comments that I'll give to the code committee. And then for the board, it's more along the lines of be aware that, you know, that this change that used to say all proposed developments require a site plan now says all proposed uses and developments require a site plan, which means that if someone comes into the commercial district and they just change the use of the building, but they don't change the footprint or the building itself, you still gonna have to go get a site plan and go to the planning board before you can do that. So I'm just giving examples. We don't need to talk about them now, but those will be the comments so that you're aware of what the changes are, even if they're something that you were aware of already, at least, you know, they're brought to your attention. And then the code committee, just so that I can help, you know, effectuate what the intent was. So I should be able to do that, you know, definitely this week, probably early on in the week. From a broader standpoint, the reason why I said I was going to talk about tonight more of is a couple of things that I think I need to sort of put to your attention. So this is different than the adoptions of the local law for the limited industrial district, because this one we're rezoning the hamlet. So the map's going to need to change, for instance, because the zoning map currently has commercial district. So I'm going to need to work with MRB likely to get a new map in place and determine if there's anything else we need to do to rezone the district from a commercial district beyond, you know, your simple, the text is now changed from X to Z. You know, now we're changing sort of wholesale map changes. Another big one would be seeker. I think we're in preliminary discussions, but I think this is going to be a type 1 action as opposed to type 2. So for prior changes that are less substantial, they're type 2, which means they're exempt from seeker. Since we're touching, you know, definitely obviously touching commercial districts, which are pretty substantial, but really when you touch setbacks and everything, making some of these bigger changes, you kind of touch everything. We might have to do a seeker type 1 action, which we're working on and we'll help you with, but is just another step that we need to do.
Yep.
And then Amber raised this at the last meeting, but the initial proposal was to use the mobile home district as the code section for this new mixed use hamlet, which is currently 120-10. Amber was right, to raise an eyebrow at that. Manufactured housing is what what they call it now. And you can't zone out manufactured housing. That's essentially the rule, so you can't, prohibit it from the town. And the only reason why that matters for what we're talking about is because currently the code says if you have a mobile home, that is only permitted in a mobile home district. So if we get rid of the district, then in effect, you're getting rid of any place to put the mobile home. Does that make sense? Gene asked a good question, which was to say, well, we're not explicitly saying they can't be here. But if you take away the place that they can be, then you're triggering the implicit, you're taking away from them where they can actually go. So the only thing that means is that we can't put it there, the new mixed use hamlet.
That chapter or section.
So we have to put it somewhere else. The initial thought, what I currently have drafted, but I can change it. But what I currently have drafted is 120-12.1, which is what we did for solar and just because then you don't have to renumber everything. I know that is not what the code committee initially wanted because they wanted it to be a round number. But that's currently the way I have it, and if we want to put it somewhere else, have to be more creative about what we do.
Can I ask a question?
Please, yeah.
So when the local solar law was adopted, it was 120-74.
Yes.
We didn't go to general code to ask the question. Would it be advisable to go to general code and say 12.1? Because if we pass a local law, then it gets sent to Albany and then general code says, sorry, it can't go there.
Yeah.
Then we're in the same situation we are where everyone knows it's 74, but it's really 64.1 and no one can find it.
Yeah, so that one is interesting in the sense that the solar law was put into 120-74, as you said, which is under the article of administration. I'm sitting here looking at it, so it's easier for me. So under administration, you have, Board of Appeals, Planning Board, enforcement, amendments, and then tacked at the bottom of that was a solar code. And what probably happened was that E-code took a look at that and said, it doesn't make sense there. And we're gonna go put it up in under
64.1.
60. Yeah, they put it in basically in a more appropriate space, in a place that made more sense. So if we do what I currently have, which is right under commercial districts, it makes sense as to where it should be, because it's next to residential districts, commercial districts, be mixed use housing, limited industrial, so it'd be in the
Oh,
right
It'd
place.
be in the right place.
So I don't anticipate that they will have an issue with that, but it is worth, to your point,
Ask the question.
yeah, it doesn't hurt to say, this is where we're intending to put it. Can you make that happen? I'm sure that they can, because they've done it already, but I
Who
think,
would be the right person to reach out to general code? The town clerk?
I can do it if the town clerk gives me the information that she has for I don't know who Pam's contact is, but obviously she has that contact, so if she wants to share that with me, I'm happy to.
John, isn't there a state code official that attends to those applications?
Not that I know of. It goes through just Department of State.
I thought that, I can't remember his name.
Bill Richardson. Richardson?
No. Anyway, let me make a comment and then I'll think of the name. Is it required that we have a mobile home district?
No, but mobile homes have to be permitted to go somewhere in the town. Currently, you have a mobile home section in the code. And the mobile home section says, mobile homes are permitted subject to the following conditions in the mobile home district. So that's where they're permitted. They're not a permitted use, as far as I'm aware, in commercial district, residential districts, etc. So if you get rid of the district that they're allowed in, then they're gonna have to be permitted somewhere else. So again, my solution currently is just to put a different section in. But if you wanted to, we could make this beast even bigger and, you know, put mobile homes as a permitted use somewhere. And then you can get rid of that district, but
But you're just
That's a
getting
whole
rid
nother
of
change.
one when this is just simply a decimal point. Sounds a lot easier to me.
Yeah.
Well, is there a reality that we could have a mobile home?
Well, yeah, you might get a lawsuit
Not a
saying
used
you're
one.
discriminating against low income housing potentially.
I think that the potential for getting a used mobile home is greater than having a new mobile home. And the reason I ask this question is, we've got at least 3 manufactured housing units in Rush that are less than 10 years old, one of them less than 5 years old. And one of them right up here on Rush Scottsville Road is probably pricier than most homes in town. And, you know, I drive by it just for kicks with people in the car and say, that's a manufactured house. First of all, they want to know what a manufactured house is. And I tell them that it took the place of a mobile home. And they find it hard to believe that that is a manufactured house.
yeah,
So I'm wondering if the probability is even such that, you know, I would welcome that house or anything like it next door to me.
yeah, I mean, if, you know, and again, that it's a different code change than what the code committee was working on. But you could always permit it in a different district. You know, the difficulty that you'll face is, you know, it's difficult for a municipality to regulate the appearance of something. Right, so you can't say single family homes are permitted as long as they look, you know, to a certain standard, so. That's a tough business to be in, so, you know, they're either gonna be permitted or they're not, so. But that's something I think would probably be better served being its own separate discussion in local law,
Well, and the purpose was just so they could have
the section.
a section and you've created that and we can have Pam or whomever get the contact information to you for general code and
Yeah,
as the new board moves forward, they can, you make sure you have your ideas if it can work or not.
2 other questions.
Yeah.
And the last one on this subject. Will that impede the owner of any particular property that carries that designation from doing a traditional stick-built subdivision?
so I'm intending not to touch the mobile home districts at all, so that would be the change that I've made, probably the only change I've made from the code committee's language so far is just to not touch that mobile home district, so I wouldn't be changing anything than what already exists in that. And
You'd
that,
just be relocating it.
no,
No.
wouldn't touch it at all,
Leave it where it
You're
is.
just changing the section number instead of
Okay,
For
10, it
this-
will be
This
12.2.
new mixed use.
Mixed use hamlet.
If I can make a comment. So, the mixed use Hamlet would be one of the more important districts in the town. I just have a bias and be nicer if it was kind of pure from a numbering standpoint, when you could make it 120-12. And for whatever mobile home is, and make the mobile home the 0.1 or something like that, or it could be a 0.1 or something else. So long as it doesn't cost an arm and a leg through general code to make that kind of change. It's, you know, just a matter of saying, this whole section becomes a different number, you don't do anything with it. Anyway, think about that. Just to keep the WH kind of pure single number. The other thing I want to mention, around the town map. When we made the last substantial changes, remember, you used to have a CC and it was actually commercial C, and
Yeah.
you had the light industrials and light industrial. All those changes were made at the county level, not with MRB.
yeah,
So they're the folks you want to deal with.
Okay.
They're able to turn things around really well and quickly. We are talking to them now about what it would look like to put preserved farmland on the town map. The reason being that right now, if somebody came to the planning board and said, I want to put a house on this lot, where they subdivide this lot. we might not have a good indication that it's reserved. I don't know where you would find that or what would trigger looking at that sort of. If it was on the town map as as an overlay, like a tier 3, it would kind of be neater. So. I
Yeah,
don't know what it look like. I think you just want to consider it at this point. And then, of course, we still need to get the second tier 3 solar on the map. I mean, so there's other changes.
yeah. So, and correct me if I'm wrong, the original changes that we made at the county, like regarding CC. They weren't accompanied, I think, I definitely agree, we should work with the county and see what they say, whomever you worked with. My suspicion is that this is going to be more difficult because we're changing a district from one thing to another, whereas wasn't the CC a correction from it saying CC to just saying
I think
C?
it was just a map change. If you go into the real estate portal at the
Yeah.
county level, I think it's still CC on there.
Really?
So I think it's just the map things.
Yeah,
I think it's straightforward. I think it's simply just the map.
yeah, I'll work with the county. I'm guessing that they're, and again, this is why I need to look at this further, but I'm guessing there might be an additional step because you are changing an existing zone to a different zone, as opposed to renumbering it or fixing an outdated site. So I just need to double check
We're rezoning.
or rezoning, yeah.
Well, I think
That's-
they may not just need to see the resolution.
Yeah.
And then you work with them and they'll do it.
In which case, it's a matter of how do I, in that local law, say, we're rezoning commercial in this area to be mixed-use housing, but not the commercial over on this area. You know, I need to be very specific about,
Correct. It's just that one,
it's just
The
the Hamlet,
Hamlet
because I
commercial.
can't say the Hamlet because that doesn't
Mean
have a legal
anything.
meaning.
right?
So that's why I'm saying that there might be, it's a little more nuanced, but
So it's only have to come up with another line on the table that has different districts, and they would have to have new colors for just the Hamlet.
right, exactly. So maybe MRB will say, we don't
Know
do
who
it.
to talk to. It's a
No.
Asian name. of it.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great.
It is really good.
When Bradshaw, I can't think of his first name,
Eric.
Terry,
Eric.
when he left his original place of employment, a municipality, and joined the state, he was made the guru of manufactured housing.
I'll talk to him.
Yeah, see if you, I'm very confident that's. That I looked at the case law and analysis about not being able to zone out manufactured housing, but you should definitely double check it.
And I also think that these people in the hamlet especially, who will have those changes impacting their properties, what is the plan to notify them?
Well, they're gonna get notified when we do a public hearing. If you want to sort of go the extra mile, right, you can knock on doors and say, we're changing it, but from the legal perspective, they're notified when we do the public hearing that we are rezoning the commercial district here in the hamlet to the mixed use district. So they'll be notified in that respect, but I will be double checking as part of that rezoning. It wouldn't surprise me, Jerry, if they require additional notice as being within a district that is changing from one thing to another. Yeah, because think if we were changing it from commercial to residential, they would need to be notified of that. Beyond, perhaps even beyond the traditional public hearing. So, again, this is why I wanted to have the discussion tonight about, I can give you the local law as it is now, but I think there's some bigger issues that I'm encountering that I want to tie a bow on and make sure we're in the right track.
I think the extra steps should be taken to notify them. And the reason I say that is because, as you heard me say a couple of times tonight, I've been around for 23 years. And I don't know about recently, but back in 15 years of my service, the people who own property in the hamlet were totally confused as to what their requirements were, what their obligations were, et cetera, et cetera. But it sounds to me like it's gonna be more clearly defined.
They're gonna, again, I think you're right to ask the question. I think they're gonna have to be additionally notified because you're changing I mean, at the end of the day, I think a lot of, let's say we have a lot of people here, and I hope we do, that are involved with it. You know, I think the majority of the answers to the questions are gonna be, if you predate the code, you're in pre-existing non-conforming use. It's gonna be explaining that concept to them. And if you make changes to your property, you're gonna have to conform with the code, but if you do nothing, you know, this code is new, you predate it. So, that might be the majority of the conversation that we're having, but they should be part of it. I agree with
There's questions about the hamlet since the seventies,
you.
maybe even before, and I think that this will help. I think it would relieve them, like this is what it is.
Yeah.
Now I don't have, there's no,
No
it
more
might be this, it
confusion.
might be that,
Right,
this is what it is.
And reassure them that their assessment isn't gonna change.
Any other discussion?
Not because of this.
Right.
Right,
All
right.
other
Okay,
factors, all other factors.
Good point, Dan.
Any other discussion?
Is there more?
no,
Robert?
so be on the lookout for an email with me. Again, I need to deal with those are bigger topic issues that I need to hit on first, but I started off in the weeds, which is good because I like to get my hands around it first. But, so I have essentially a document with all my comments on it that I'll be giving to the code committee and the board, but I also need to wrap my head around those bigger issues and make sure we're checking those boxes too. So, and you know, the summary is, I've been working hard on it and I'm gonna continue to work hard on it and we'll get it done soon.
Very good.
It'd be
Okay,
great,
sounds good.
exciting to get that
Thank
done,
you.
don't you think?
Thank you, Robert. We can move on to number 4.
Mhm.
And I'm admittedly confused about number 4 because I read the notice in the newsletter that defined the date and for presentation of the organizational meeting. And then I read the proposed agenda, so I'm wondering.
Well, I reached out to Pam about a month ago. Cause I always go back a year and look at it, see as the end of the year is coming along, what do we normally do? What needs to be done? And one of them was setting the organizational meeting. You and I won't be here, but obviously that has to be done before it's set,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
And she said it was too soon, my recollection. So that's when you and I talked about the agenda and we said, well, let's add it to tonight's just to see if there was a date. And then I, as you saw the newsletter come out with a date already set. So if that's already been set, then it's already been set.
Does anyone know when the inauguration?
I think we're gonna do swearing in on the 3rd.
Okay, so.
I
Same
think
day?
that's what the newsletter said, right before the organizational meeting,
Is
didn't
that
it?
what it is? Okay.
One
I-
in the same meeting, you don't have to come twice.
There you go. Okay, I was just curious to make sure that we scheduled it, that it wasn't before that date, so, okay.
Right, right.
So do you want this passed tonight then, so they can get the legal notice out, since you guys are aware of the date?
Is this the same as what was in the
Does
newsletter?
that work okay?
I believe so, right, the 3rd?
Yeah, we never passed it at this board.
Right, but obviously there was discussion.
Somewhere.
With Dan and whomever, so,
Oh, okay.
because it got in the newsletter, I don't know
Yeah.
how.
You had this discussion?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't know.
So it's on the second page of the agenda, if anyone wants to read it.
And we'll
It
read it.
is?
I so move to schedule the organizational meeting of 2024 on January 3rd, 2024 at 7 PM in the offices of the Rush Town Hall, 5977 East Henrietta Road, Rush, New York, 14543. Do I have a second?
You do, me.
Councilperson Chase.
Aye.
Councilperson Corbin.
Aye.
Councilperson Morelli.
Aye,
Councilperson Wolliver.
Aye.
Supervisor Cusey.
Aye. Okay,
And before, do you have anything else? I have one other thing I just wanted to open up for discussion since we are at a workshop.
not on the
It's
agenda,
not on the agenda, so it's your agenda.
but I like you, so go ahead.
You like all of us. We have an adopted town board policy for town board meetings that we adopted on December 28th, 2022. And I've had some phone calls about some what some people think was not accurate stuff that's posted on unapproved minutes. And our town board policy, which I'm not sure how it's being used, but we did adopt it, and I'm a stickler. If we have a policy, we should be following it. And the minutes that we adopted said the town clerk shall provide draft minutes to the board members within 7 days of the meeting for their review. Such draft minutes shall be labeled draft. 2, draft minutes that are posted to the website within 2 weeks of the meeting shall be replaced with the final approved minutes within 4 weeks of the posting of the draft minutes. And as I emailed Valerie about the November 20th meeting, my words on YouTube were a little garbled. So in one point I say it is, and then another part it comes out as isn't. And I had people calling me, why would you say that? Why don't you say that type of thing? So I think this is a really good policy. It's built after Avon, the Avon Town and Village adopted board policy. I actually got it from a similar version from your new supervisor secretary about 2 years ago. And I think this would help alleviate misinformation that's out there, so that when we do adopt the minutes, if there are any amendments to it, the unapproved minutes get taken down and within 4 weeks. Because the research that we know people are doing on our website is incredible. And if they're looking at unapproved minutes that may have wrong information, the only place before we adopted this was to come to the town clerk where they have the hard copy. But New York State local law section 63 and state controller's office, as is written here, states that a town board can approve their own approval of minutes procedure. So I would just like to make sure that that's following through, because I don't want new people sitting in our seats getting the same kind of phone calls that I've been getting in the last couple of months.
Well, I'm gonna second that proposal. Because I don't think I was at that meeting. And when I picked up my newsletter, which I was delighted to see, and I read the quotes of the deputy supervisor in there, I wanted to call her and find out why she would say such things.
So I just wanted to bring that to our attention that it's a great, when we did our information meetings, it's all straightforward. And I've had people, I don't know if you have, reach out to me and saying, where can I find this procedure? So I've been sending it to people. And I've been working with Jerry's new secretary to come up with that folded thing that's supposed to be here for people when they come in, that has an overview of our town board procedures. So we'll keep working on that. So it's here in hard copy, and I don't know, maybe we just put it somewhere on the website. We'll figure that out. But I just wanted to bring that up so that we make sure we're following our
Good point.
adopted policy. I don't want anyone. to
And
go-
we have that's in our policy.
It is.
It is. I just read
Yeah.
it word for word.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay,
It's like
Page 4 minutes.
okay.
it's like the 1996 comprehensive plan. It got adopted, but didn't get looked at.
So that's all. We can go home now.
Well, we've got to adjourn the meeting.
Oh, okay.
Would you like to adjourn the
No,
meeting?
go right for it.
Having no further business to conduct, I therefore adjourn the meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
To everyone.
Robert, congratulations, by the way.
Thank
Okay,
you.
guys.
I
I don't think I didn't say-
Yes, thank you, appreciate it.
Hey, Robert.